Hi everyone, and so with last week's Cantina talk, I'm just going to give a little warning about spoilers here. I'm talking about the events in episode 8, and so we'll assume that you've either seen it or don't mind spoilers at this point. From next week, I'm going to assume that people who want to watch the film will have done so by then, so no more warnings. So, why was Luke's lightsaber blue in episode 8? Now, I know what you're thinking, or maybe what you're thinking, oh no, it was actually green, sure, the flashback, yeah, sure. At the end, where he did the projection. So, to begin with, let's just go over the concept of different coloured lightsabers in the Star Wars universe. Now, there are really two reasons for having different colours of lightsaber. There's filmmaking pragmatism and there's the expanded universe explanation. The filmmaking decisions were straightforward. You started off with blue for the light side and red for the dark side so that there was a contrast when Kenobi or Skywalker were fighting Vader in the first two films. Then between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, Luke constructed his own lightsaber. Now this was supposed to be blue originally, but it wouldn't show up against the azure blue skies of Tatooine, and so it was changed to green later on in the post-production. Much later on, with the introduction of Mace Windu, his lightsaber was purple because Samuel L. Jackson wanted to stand out from the other Jedi. Now, as a result of this variation in the films and then eventually the games, fans sort of wanted there to be a reason for different colours, of course. Now, writers could have gone one of two ways with this. One, lightsabers contain crystals, so it could simply have been a property of those crystals, sort of is, which was a cosmetic choice by the Force user in question. Or two, that the colour has some deeper meaning, albeit still based on that crystal used. And it's this second one that came of it. So the colours actually do represent something. Jedi become attuned to certain types of crystal depending on what type of Jedi they are. A bit like the wand choosing the wizard in Harry Potter. Now you'll notice, of course, Jedi do have various colours of lightsaber, but Sith do not. Sith always have red. And the reason for this is because to get that red colour, it's not a particular crystal, they bleed their crystal. Blue, on the other hand, is representative of protection for the Jedi. It's the symbol of a guardian, which is also why so many Jedi use blue lightsabers. They see themselves as guardians of the Republic. Green is associated with those particularly strong in the Force who also have a maverick streak to them, for want of a better term. They stand out. This is why both Luke and Yoda constructed green lightsabers. It could also be argued that Luke at this time didn't really see himself as a guardian, as there was nothing to guard at this point in the Star Wars timeline. The Republic was gone before his first lesson in using the Force. He was fighting against an established order, not in defence of one. So Luke, throughout his Jedi career, including in Episode 8 flashbacks, had a green lightsaber, but when he appeared at the end of the film in what we now know was a projection, he used a blue lightsaber. Given that this was an illusion that he created, his lightsaber colour was presumably a cosmetic choice entirely within Luke's power to determine, and not simply attuned to the type of Jedi that he was. So why was this? Was he coming to peace with the concept of himself as a Jedi at last and wanted to show some solidarity with his Jedi teacher, or perhaps even the Jedi his father was before he fell? Was it as simple as his last act being to guard the rebels' escape through the base, and so projected himself as a traditional Jedi Guardian for this role? Has it already been explained in some literature that I haven't read yet, and I'm wasting my time trying to puzzle it out, and I'm looking a bit of a muppet because everyone actually knows the reason? One thing I'm sure of is that there will be a reason. I'm sure it has been thought through. As much as I don't think many of us appreciated the overall storyline in Episode 8, I do think they have thought about continuity in the expanded universe. So what are your thoughts on the reason for Luke choosing a lightsaber in this final encounter where he presents an illusion of himself, as opposed to the green lightsaber he actually had ever since he constructed his between Empire and Return? Write them down in the comments below. I'd love to see them. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video if it inspired you to think about this question. Please share with anyone else you think might be interested, and check out my last episode on my theory about Snoke if you haven't already. And until next week, I'll see you later.
The Force will be with you, always.